visiting here in Willow Tree, part of a really great group of people that do really good work as it relates to making sure that, preventing things from happening. Obviously, some of the group here does work that after something happened within a family that kind of rises to the point that intervention has to happen, but they're also working all across northeast Wisconsin, frankly, to put together prevention programs, which is really important to me and to the state of Wisconsin. That's one of the reasons we created this Office of Violence Prevention in our Department of Administration in Madison. We're looking forward to obviously making sure that people, and gun violence is part of that, but that's not necessarily what we're talking about today. But working together, bringing people together across the state of Wisconsin to prevent bad things from happening within families and in not only families, but making sure that Wisconsin's a safe place. So with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions people have.
Yeah, Governor, you in your announcement today with violence prevention and specifically gun violence prevention, you talked about more robust gun form. Can you just talk more a little bit about maybe what that looks like moving forward in proposals and obviously with your budget request?
Yeah, well, things that we talked about before that we know work, issues around red flag laws, around holding or waiting periods in order to get some type of weapon, and making sure that we aren't out to get guns, but we want to make sure that they're going to the right place, and as a result of those decisions, people are making the right choices.
How do you think the state office will be different, maybe more successful than some of the local offices we've seen, specifically Milwaukee?
Yeah, well, we'll be working with them, and obviously providing resources, but it just, we can't just look at one part of the state of Wisconsin. This is a statewide effort, and I think I even talked about this morning, a lot of the gun violence happens, frankly, in rural Wisconsin, and so it's important, as we think about the kind of violence that we've seen, that we do something from the state level to help coordinate what happens all across the state. Obviously, we're going to need some funding to do that. I mean, these folks that do this great work, they have to make sure that they have the resources they need, in addition to getting people donating money throughout northeast Wisconsin, which is important to get some viable programs going. But at the end of the day, the state has to take a role in this. It can't just happen at the local level, and by doing that, we believe that things can happen in a better way locally.
Gun rights advocates say with violence prevention and gun violence prevention, it needs to start with mental health and not necessarily red flag laws and such. Is there anything else in your budget that will also reflect that as well, of looking into that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we have to look at everything, but I can tell you we've been doing prayers and thoughts for a long time when we have issues such as what happened in Madison a couple of weeks ago. And we have to move, prayers and good thoughts are really important, but we also have to think about what we can do to make sure that our guns are handled safely in the state of Wisconsin. Red flag laws are something that the people of Wisconsin have said repeatedly in Marquette polls. Same thing around, making sure that there's an adequate time to make sure that the people that receive these guns can handle them safely. And so all those things are important, and I just, the idea that somehow all of this is going to be taken care of with mental health services, that just isn't accurate. That is not an accurate statement. Issues of mental health are important, but it always falls back on that, and frankly, I put $500 million in the budget for mental health issues last time. We got a pittance out of that. So I'm not sure that just focusing on mental health is the answer to gun violence in the state of Wisconsin.
Governor, how do places like Willow Tree and places that offer similar services to places like here, how does that tie into the new department?
Yeah, well, first of all, it ties in with, we'll be able to share across the state, the successes that they have and, you know, things that they'd like to see done better. I just think that the idea of what happens at WillowTree and other systems here in northeast Wisconsin, others can learn from that, and they can learn from others, and frankly, will be in a better position to advocate for funds too.
Governor, a little unrelated,
Yeah.
the voter, assembly set to vote on the voter ID law that's, could be a constitutional amendment. With that likely going to the voters in April, anything you have to say on that once things kind of take its course today?
Yeah, well, it's a law now. I'm not quite sure why we're doing a constitutional amendment, so to me, it's a little bit of a ho-hum thing. It's a law, and they just decided, well, let's make it part of our Constitution. That's why that was one of the reasons why I decided that we really should have a ballot initiative in the state of Wisconsin to allow people that are concerned about an issue can actually bring it to the voters of the entire state. So hopefully we'll get that done. And I know you had a question.
I was along the same lines. Does this come across your desk now, Governor, and will you veto it?
It does not go across my desk. This goes directly on the ballot this spring, I believe. So, yeah. But it's just, it already exists. It's kind of a why.
Okay, thanks everyone.